Good morning. My name is Jane
Hi.
Bradley. I am the CEO at SmartSpider.net, an association of professionals and consultants. Welcome. Today, my very, very special guest is a local guy done good. Went away to the big world and came back to our Albuquerque, Dr. Michael Arner. Welcome, Michael. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi. Thank you.
So, Dr. Michael Arner is a member of the leadership team, the board of directors, and is the official director of technology for SmartSpider.net. He's also one of the founding members. This SmartSpider grew out of a series of eventful, productive, and exciting meetings that began about 4.5 years ago in my living room, and now has become what it is today. With many, many thanks to Dr. Michael Arner for engineering our original websites, getting us a directory, taking care of our SEOs, all those things that we offer as a benefit. You can thank Dr. Michael Arner. And I do thank you, Michael. It's been a fun journey, hasn't it?
It has indeed, yes.
So, Michael, you grew up in Albuquerque, didn't you?
I did, yes. We moved around a little bit. My dad was Air Force, so I wasn't born here. We showed up around second grade, and I was here through high school.
Where did you go to high school?
I was an El Dorado Eagle.
So right up in our neighborhood.
Yes, yeah, it's still within walking distance.
What was the favorite thing about high school for you, Michael?
Oh gosh, I got involved in the drama group there pretty early, and I think that was a group of people that were really fun, really inclusive, a little bit eccentric, and so that was a kind of wonderful social and creative space for me.
Had your interest in engineering and computer programming and all of that, had that begun to form in high school, or was that later?
Pretty early. My father, as part of his work with the Defense Department, brought home a TRS-80. I think we were the first house on the block to have a home computer. So that would have been even towards the end of elementary school when I started tinkering around with computers.
So as other kids were taking the mother's clock apart to reassemble it, you were taking computers apart to reassemble them?
I was breaking my share of clocks, I guess.
Michael, when you graduated from El Dorado, what was your choice for higher education?
I went to Carnegie Mellon, which is a school in Pennsylvania. I think it's still one of the top 1 or 2 or 3 computer science schools with MIT and Stanford. They kind of switch places every year. But the great thing about Carnegie Mellon was they would let me do a bunch of English study and creative writing study along with the computer science. I think except for the drama school there, just about everyone is doing whatever they're supposed to be doing plus computers. So if you're in the architecture department, you're doing architecture and computers. If you're in psychology, you're doing psychology and computers. So I studied mathematics and computer science and double majored in English, creative writing, and then I took a bunch of English courses on the side to get ready for graduate school, which was English studies in Boston.
And then where did you go to graduate school?
Graduate school at Boston University.
For both your master's and your PhD?
Yes.
So there's something that a phrase I used to like to use about a very few people I've met in my life, and Michael is one of these. I like to use the phrase cerebrally ambidextrous. What that means is there are people who are equally comfortable in their creative mind and in their analytic mind. And I would say that totally describes you. Would you agree with that, Michael?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I feel like as long as I can remember, I've had one foot in the computer science lab and the other foot in the English department. So, if nothing else, I got used to going back and forth from one mode to another.
In fact, you taught at Boston University in the English department for a number of years, didn't you?
Yeah, I taught at Boston University. I also taught at MIT, and uh, I was lucky enough to be able to teach a wide variety of things. So philosophy, literature, and film. Film was what I ended up teaching most, I think.
So, Michael, at the beginning of this interview, um, I talked about uh, the fact that you were our director of technology at SmartSpider. I wonder how many companies in the world can say that their director of technology has been a published playwright in an off-Broadway play. Want to comment about that?
I will say that I find more and more people in this business who combine fields. So I haven't met other novelist playwrights, poets in this position, but I've met people that do history buffs, archaeology buffs, all kinds of other people who have found interesting kind of means of balancing the very mathematical components with something a little more humanist.
But actually, you wrote a play and it was produced off Broadway, was it not?
Yeah. In 1999, I think I was finishing my dissertation in the middle of my first startup, and producing my first professional play at the same time. That play, which was called The Silk Road, just recently got me inducted into the American Dramatist Guild. So it's funny, there have been a number of them, but that seems to be the one that keeps on giving over the years. It was the best documented. And
Isn't that wonderful? When you say starting your first startup, SmartSpider is not anywhere close to your first endeavor as a serious, successful entrepreneur that had an idea, capitalized on it, sold out, and moved on to the next idea, is it?
no, there have been somewhere between half a dozen and a dozen startups since those early days.
And you've loved doing every one, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I've been lucky enough to be able to move from one to the next in a way that's kept me kind of on the cutting edge. So lots of people in this position, they graduate to middle management and they keep doing the same thing forever. So one thing about kind of growing it and birthing it and setting it off on its own is that it kind of forces you to keep up with the latest in what is a very fast moving space.
So, Michael, along with SmartSpider, along with being cerebrally ambidextrous, you are one of those rare individuals that seem to be able to multitask in business and different companies very successfully at the same time. And that's a rare quality. Along with SmartSpider and helping us reach our dreams and goals, you have another new, looks like a big time success story on your hands, don't you? Do you feel like talking a little bit about Skipty today?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to jinx it by saying too much about its success, except for it has been successful so far in bringing a lot of really talented people together for a really great project. I think that a lot of my startups for the beginning of my career were pretty mercenary. We did a lot of stuff in payment, for example, mobile software for payment, which was lucrative, but didn't feel as good as Skipty feels about doing something for the earth and for the culture. So Skipty is a company that it began with the idea of doing peer-to-peer rentals, and it's focusing at the moment on making not just rentals anymore, but what we call circular delivery. So that includes rentals and repairs and demos, try before you buy, and that kind of thing. And it's really geared toward a number of pretty green initiatives. It's focusing on making, items that you maybe pay for, but they last longer, so they don't end up on the landfill, and they spend less time gathering unused capacity, in a closet somewhere. There are many things that people don't need to own. And this generation is much less interested in owning things. They want to have experiences. So I think Skipty is terrific for, it brings you the stuff you need to have an experience. You have the experience, and then we come and we take it away from you at the end. So it's felt like something that will be helpful, I think, as it rolls out into more and more people's communities and lives. And it's certainly been a terrific group of people that I'm working with. I'm surprised to look around and find that everyone is so young, but lots and lots of business talent, marketing talent. This is one of the first things that I've done that is consumer facing. So I've been learning a lot more about real people, instead of business decision makers and so on. So that's Skipty, skipti.com.
SKIPTI, and it's skipty.net.
.com.
If anyone is interested in circular, the basic idea, as I understand it, is if you need a drill for a half a day, why go buy one when you can go on Skipty, rent it from someone, it's delivered to you, you call UPS, they pick it up, and it's a fraction of the cost, and you don't have that garage full of tools that you used once or twice. Is that pretty basic, Michael?
That's pretty much it. Yeah, we're having particular luck in big urban areas where space is at a premium, and people don't want to store all of that stuff. But I think that it will permeate to more and more aspects of our lives. I think that even people in sprawling suburbs, like Albuquerque, can see the use of a service like this.
It has been so fun to talk to you today, Michael. I never spend minutes or hours or longer meetings with Dr. Michael Arner, that I don't learn things that I didn't know before, and I don't come away enriched. Michael, you are a valued part of SmartSpider. We owe a lot of our success to you, and we thank you. Anyone wants to contact you, information will be provided, and you can always check out his other venture other than SmartSpider.net by going to skipty.com. Thank you for joining me today, Michael. We hear so much about our education in Albuquerque. You went to Albuquerque schools, and then you went all the way.
Thank you so much, Jane. It's been a pleasure.
This is Jane Bradley, CEO at SmartSpider.net. I'm wishing you a healthy, happy, prosperous, and very productive day.